Hey guys, this is Mitchell of Trades and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a registered nurse and a nurse practitioner student, and this channel is really all about my life as a nurse and as an NP student. If you're an oldie but a goodie, what's up? How are you guys doing? How's everything going? I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for being a new viewer, a new subscriber, and thank you for joining the family. So today's video, like you can see in the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about the struggles of being a nurse. So for the past few years, especially like let me say 3 years, I would say, like especially around like the pandemic area and even before the pandemic. So like in the past couple years, nursing has been known as a very renowned profession. It's been recognized for being very respected, profitable profession. Especially with the rise of travel nursing, a lot of people have seen nursing as a very good source of income, and how we make lots of money and how we have this and how we have that. A lot of times we talk about nursing in the good way, which is good. We will always want to promote the profession as what it is, but there's also some downsides and cons to it that people don't really realize that I want us to talk about in this video. So let's get to it. So I'm going to give you 10 things that I find as a struggle being a nurse. Now, these can be just very personal to me, but I'm sure a lot of people can also relate to them. A struggle for me is just honestly waking up early. So people that know me personally know that I'm not a morning person. I am better at night. I'm like a night owl, for lack of better words. I can be awake in the morning, but give me a couple hours for me to like truly wake up. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. I have to wake up at like 5 a.m. or so just to get myself ready. I like to take my time. It requires me to be up early, which is a downside for me. And I even considered, okay, if I like to stay up late, let me try and do a night shift. It did not work for me. It just messed up my entire sleep schedule. It literally just was not it for me either. Another thing for me is that sometimes I am forced to work on days that I probably have like an engagement or I have some event that's going on. Over my years of being a nurse, it's always been a tug for me, a struggle, like trying to make it to this girl's birthday dinner or this guy's graduation party, or like to go on this trip with my friends, or like to go see someone at their house. Like there's always something going on, and around those times there's always a struggle for me to get my off day or to be scheduled to be off on that day. I don't like when my job interferes with my personal life, and that's a struggle that I have. And for me, another reason why it gets personal is because I work 12 hours. So 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. By the time I get home and like decompress, it's like 9 p.m. and it's already too late for me to do anything. Whereas I know I have friends that work 9 to 5 and at least they get off earlier. So like when they get out, the day is still like young and they can still have time to get dressed and go for whatever engagement we were planning on going for. Another struggle is the hours. Like I know we work 3 days a week, and now in my current job position, I'm working 2 days a week. But those 12 hours be no joke. There are days that I'm on my feet all 12 hours. Sometimes the 12 hours can turn into 13 hours. And sometimes like if there's so much going on, like you don't really have enough break time for yourself. So, and even in my past like years of working as a nurse in other specialties, this is still the constant, reoccurring issue, working long hours, being on your feet all the time, and like having little to no break on some days. So that's something that I do not like as a nurse. Like honestly, for me, if I don't get a break, if I'm hungry, I am hangry. If I'm hungry, I'm hangry. So if I don't get a break, I can be very fussy and just have an attitude. And doing that all 12 hours is not, it's not helping anybody. Another struggle is physical demands. This comes with like turning patients, transferring patients, carrying equipment, lifting equipment. Like there are times that my body is tired just from constantly working and bending low to pick this up and lift this up and do that and push that. In terms of patient care and just about transferring patients and moving trays, moving stretchers. There are days that I come home and I'm just physically tired. It's very hands-on, you know what I mean? So that's a struggle of being a nurse. Another struggle is you are getting firsthand exposure to a lot of communicable diseases, a lot of contagious diseases, a lot of contagious infections. And we can even look back to the time of the pandemic and how honestly we were firsthand exposed to these things. So it's like now that COVID isn't as prevalent as before or isn't as deadly as before, there's still other things. Like now we're talking about the Ebola virus. Who knows what's going to happen in the next couple months? Like these are things that are, other people might find it easy to, stay away from those exposures. But as a nurse, we are openly exposed to that. A lot of people come in, you don't even know what bugs they have. You don't even know where they came from, what they did. You don't know whose house they were in. You don't know if they have COVID or not until you test them. So we are like the first people being exposed to this stuff, and I don't like that. Another struggle is the verbal and physical abuse. Well, not physical, yeah, physical abuse as well. Verbal and physical abuse that we encounter as nurses. We might come across psychiatric patients with mental illnesses or patients who are very aggressive and agitated and irritable. They can say whatever they want to say to you. They can do whatever they want to do to you. We have to be the ones that are professional and like don't do X, Y, and Z. Now, I haven't come across a patient that was physically abusive to me, but I've dealt with patients that were verbally abusive to me. I already know how that can take a toll on you as a nurse. I always say this, but I don't come to work to be harassed. I don't come to work to be abused. So I do find it frustrating when I encounter those things. Granted, some of them might not really know what they're doing. Granted, some of them might not be understanding what they're doing. They might be under the influence. But there are some people that actively inflict those pain on you by verbally and physically abusing you. And for, a community of healthcare workers who are dedicating themselves to take care of you, sometimes it can feel very discouraging to have that response from people. And that's a struggle that we face as healthcare workers, especially as nurses. Another one is short staffing. Short staffing, you cannot run away with short staffing. You cannot run away with short staffing. It's always there wherever you're working. Maybe some as often, maybe some units as frequent, maybe some units very short than others, but you cannot get away with it. That's something that you have to be prepared for if you're getting into nursing. They might tell you that the ratio is 1-4, but be prepared when they're short staffed and you dealing with 1-5, 1-6. And honestly, if you Google it, like this is something that's been ongoing where there's like a global nursing shortage, and people are trying to fix it, figure out how to do it. Schools are trying to do X, Y, and Z. So it's literally something that's been going on, and it's something that you should be aware of getting to nursing, and it can be a struggle working under those conditions. Another struggle for me is having to process deaths and tragedies. It's me, I like sad stuff makes me sad. I'm sure it does for everyone, but it can get to me, like dealing with patient death. I'm an empathetic person or empath, whatever it's called. So I so easily can feel the pain of other people and just empathize with what they're going through. I had a patient who had pancreatic cancer who was crying in front of me, and it's like all these emotions just flying around. Like it can be overwhelming. If you're someone who gets emotional easily, sometimes it can take a toll on you because you take on these emotions and you put them on yourself because of the kind of personality that you might have. So that's a struggle, just trying to navigate death and loss and grief and tragedies and bad news and stuff like that. I think I've gotten a little better since I first started working as a nurse till now. So I give myself some credit, but yeah, I think I've gotten better, but it's still a struggle that I face every now and then. Another struggle is earning the respect of your coworkers. So I think I've mentioned in one of my videos, just a struggle of being young, also being a person of color, also just mostly being like a young nurse. Sometimes like I have gotten faces where people don't take me seriously. Maybe you had every right to, I don't know. But just earning the respect of your coworkers can be something you have to navigate, especially when you're starting in a new unit. There are times I've had to prove like, hey, I know how to do this. Oh, I know how to do that. I got it. Da, 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 da. So like, I mean, it's never been like a huge problem for me, but there are people I know, some of my nursing friends who've had experiences where they've had to work hard to get the respect of their coworkers, and it shouldn't have to be like that because we all have the same degree, we all got the same education, but these are things in work environments that have been embedded into the work environment and the unit culture that you might come across as a new person coming in. And that can be a struggle at first, but I assure you, as long as you know your stuff and you're confident in you, you will be able to handle anything. as far as like when it comes to dealing with coworkers and work environments and stuff like that. So you'll be good. You'll be good. And the last but not the least struggle of being a nurse is working weekends and holidays. So currently, as a nurse practitioner student, I already like have distanced myself away from my social life. Like a lot of times on the weekends, I'm here doing homework and stuff. But there's still days that I still like to engage in stuff and activities, especially during the holidays. And being that I have like friends who work 9-to-5 jobs and they get the weekends off and they have holidays off, I do get a little envious because as a nurse, you are required to work weekends, some weekends, and also some holidays. That's a sacrifice, y'all. That's a sacrifice, and it's sad, but honestly, you try to live through it and make it work for you and finesse it and stuff like that. So honestly, it is what it is. I try to cluster like my weekend, so maybe I can work an entire Saturday and Sunday for this week so that my other weekends I'm off and I'm free. I try to plan ahead, and I try to make time like after work. If I can squeeze in some time and attend a certain function, I'll try and do that. But just having that restriction for me, like, it does get to me. I don't like the idea where I feel obligated to do certain stuff, and when it comes to that aspect. So that's a struggle that I face, but I've learned to work through it. In my future, I won't be in bedside nursing. I know that there's more ahead of me, and because there's more ahead of me, I know that flexibility will be in my future. Until then, I gotta do what I gotta do. But yeah, and that's it. Those are my 10 struggles that I face as a nurse, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate. If you have any other struggle that you're struggling with right now, feel free to put it in the comment section. We can have a discussion about it. I think it'll be really cool for us to discuss and see where we're at. If you have any questions, make sure you put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what videos you want me to make. Make sure you like this video, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share it to your friends. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post. Make sure you follow me on my social media pages, which will be in my description box. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.